Is my screen visible? Okay, all right, Fatih. So, are you familiar with this maps portion that comes like a map question which comes in IELTS listening? Are you know that, or you're not familiar with it?
No, I don't know about it. You can explain it.
Okay. So, see, as we see those normal maps or like the normal road maps that are given to us, or it could be a map for some building where different areas are depicted. So, whenever we get a map, let me show you a sample first that what kind of a map we're going to get in our exams. Okay, so this is kind of a plan or a map which is of Moray Bay Beach Even Center. So this is just a sample, and this kind of a sample is the one, like these are the types of the questions that actually come in IELTS listening. So see, there are different points and different aspects which we need to keep in mind before answering these maps types of questions. And it is commonly understood that, like perceived, that maps are tough, but if we have the right strategy to solve them, we can definitely just have a good score. Like if we get 5 questions or 6 questions from this maps category, we can definitely get 6 on 6 in this. As I always say that getting a 9 in IELTS listening is not a big thing. It's just that you need to be perfect with all the types of questions like MCQs, maps, and the summary, or 1 word, 2 word, or 3 word, whatever has been asked. Okay, so now let's start with this maps. So first of all, whenever we are given a question where we need to analyze maps, we need to see each number, like the location of each number. If they're saying that question number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 are from the maps category, that means कि हमें जो भी location है वो हमें exactly पता होनी चाहिए. Like in the time which we get for reading our maps. For example, if I talk about this map, then we should have an idea that where is 15, where is 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We need to fairly analyze this, have these in our mind before solving this map question. So this is like the very first thing one should do as soon as you see that we're just going to start with this, okay? Second thing, that every answer in IELTS maps comes in order. In order, if I'm saying that it comes in order, that means so for everybody who, let me just enter. Okay. So for everyone who has just entered, what we are doing today is that we're starting with IELTS maps which are the part of, like these are the types of questions, maps or plans in IELTS listening. So we have different aspects, we have different things which we need to keep in our mind before solving these maps questions. It is generally perceived that these questions are like on a bit trickier side, but if we know the correct strategy and the points that we need to keep in mind before solving these questions, then you'll be good to go and you'll be able to score like 5 on 5 or 6 on 6 also in these types of questions. So the very first thing which I told you is that you need to check the location of each number. Then second thing is that you need to listen carefully, as all the answers that will be spoken by her will be in order. If I'm saying this, that in order means, first of all, we'll be getting the answer of 14. After that, she'll be speaking the answer for 15. After that, for 16, then for 17, 18, 19, and then for 20. So this is what I'm trying to say, that all the answers will be in order. So we don't have to get ourselves into a confusion, into a dilemma. कि अब ये 16 के बाद कहीं सीधा 19 पर तो चली नहीं गई है. No, this is not going to happen. IELTS में ये जो maps वाला question है, in fact, all the answers, in fact, all the tape goes in an order itself. And the very first point that I told you is to keep all these points in your mind, that 14, 15, 16, 17, इनको पहले ही अगर आप चाहो तो pencil से भी you can encircle it. Moving ahead to our third point, which is familiarize yourself with the already mentioned places, or you may even mark, it's may over here, or you may even mark it if you are in a paper-based IELTS exam. So what I'm trying to say over here is, again, let me show you an example. For example, if I talk about this event center, you need to annotate it. If you are in a paper-based exam, what you can really do is that when you're given the time to read, just familiarize yourself with this. For example, information. For example, we have restroom, then we have kitchen, then we need to know the entrance, we need to know the restroom, we need to know the pavilion, food, and bay beach. So all these locations, just try to analyze them, just try to keep them in your mind, because when that speaker is going to speak about them, so that you have a fair idea that where is restroom, so that you don't get confused, ki, oh, restroom kahan par tha, or where is the entrance. So this is what I'm trying to say, ki answer, when you're getting the time to read the question, at that point of time, just mark all these main locations with pencil. That will, familiarize you, and that is going to clear the audio part in a much better way. So moving ahead, to our last point is that as soon as the tape starts, as soon as you get to know that, okay, now the time has been over and the tape is going to start, you need to find out what the speaker is saying, like what is the location from where the speaker is starting. There is always a location in the recording. For example, if I talk about this one, then the speaker is going to say that they are going to enter from the entrance. Or the speaker, like in any other recording, maybe the speaker will say that they are going to enter from this information center, which is located on the northwest, or any other location. So for that case, northeast or northwest. So this is what I'm saying कि सबसे पहली बात जैसे ही recording start होगी, हमें ये analyze करना बहुत ज़्यादा important है कि वो जो speaker है वो शुरू कहाँ से हो रही है. If we get the point कि वो start कहाँ से हो रही है, then we need to follow her as she is going to proceed. जैसे जैसे वो आगे बोलेगी, for example, if I take over here, she is going to enter. So what she is going to say that, okay, we are here at the entrance, and from the entrance, if we observe on the right hand side, we see a restroom, and if we see it on the left hand side, then whatever they fill in the blanks, the answer is going to tell us. So this is what I'm trying to say, that very first point, whenever you listen to it, you need to know what is her current location, and from there we need to navigate it further. So these are like the 4 basic points which you need to keep in mind whenever you get an IELTS map. Am I clear till here? If I'm clear, then please write a yes in the comment section so that we can move ahead. And if you wish to ask any point, then you can ask. Okay. What about others? All right. Okay. So let's jump on to our basic vocabulary, which we should know whenever we need to attempt these maps questions. See, so the words, the kind of words the speaker is going to use are opposite, behind, next to, adjacent to the left of or the right of, in between, beside, and in front of. So everyone, I hope everyone is clear with the word opposite. Opposite, सबको पता होता है opposite क्या होता है. If someone is not clear with this word, then you can let me know in the comment section. I'm going to tell you. Then we have behind. So I have this pictorial representation over here to show you what are these basic prepositions, like what is under, what is between, and inside, above, behind, on, in front of. And the word beside is oftenly used in IELTS listening, in IELTS maps questions specifically, if I'll talk about. Then you need to know what is beside. So beside, just have a look. I'll just give you 2 minutes to have the look on these prepositions. And अगर आपको लगता है कि इसमें से कोई भी location या कोई भी जो position की vocabulary है आपको नहीं पता है, then you can ask me. And if you're clear with it, then please type a big yes that we can move ahead. So you have 2 minutes to go through it once. you're done with it, then you can type yes in the comment section so that we can move ahead and we can practice it. Okay. So do we have someone just किसी भी position में कोई problem है? You don't have to feel shy. You can ask it. So see, there's not a big deal that if you are not familiar with any of these, words. So I'm here to explain you. If you have any doubt, if you wish to ask any position, then any location, then you can ask me. Otherwise, we're going to move ahead to our next slide, which is this one. So the other words which the speaker can use in this IELTS map listening could be, like, for example, it could be these directions: north, south, east, west, northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. So what she's going to say is that now we're going to take a turn to the north, or now we're going to move ahead in the south direction. So all these words can be used by the speaker, or the words such as go straight, or she can say that she or he can say take the first left, take the first right. So I hope everyone is clear कि take the first left. First left मतलब वहाँ पर हमें दो positions नजर आ रही होंगी, और जो पहला left होगा वहाँ पर we need to go. So this is basically navigation जो हम अपने normal Google Maps में भी like we follow. Head right, head left, turn left, and keep going. So keep going, turn left, head right, head left. And the other words which are being oftenly used is in front of and at front of. So we have a picture over here to show you what is the difference between in front of and at front of. If I talk about in front of, then you see a woman over here who's standing in the front of this school or in the front of this station. And at the front of, again, we have a Starbucks, which is there in the front of station. So is everyone clear? And please familiarize yourself with words such as go straight, take the first left, head right, turn left, keep going, because these are like the often commonly used vocabulary, commonly used words in IELTS maps specifically. So if you're familiar with it, so that we can move ahead to exercise to how, these questions basically come. So if you're familiar, then please type yes in the comment section, a big yes in the comment section, so that we can move ahead. Okay. Okay. Great, great, great. So let's move ahead to our next slide. I just want to say you all that please have a pen and a paper because we'll be practicing it. I'll be actually playing the audio, so you need to have a pen and a paper to mark your answers. Okay, Starbucks in at the front of, okay, Veer. Let me tell you, basically in front of or at the front of. Do we have anyone in the class who can explain this point to Veer? I want somebody to please switch on your mic and then explain this to me. And this is for specifically जिन्होंने big yes या फिर small yes type किया था. I want someone to explain this. What is the difference between in front of and at front of? You can raise your hand. Come on. It's very
I would like to, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. In front of is when you are standing in front of some building or somewhere. For example, you are standing in front of your house. At that time, you are in front of that place, right? At front of is that you are inside that building. Suppose inside your home. Let's take an example of your home. That when you are inside your home, it will be at the front of.
Exactly.
I hope I made it clear.
Yeah. So what they're trying to say कि यहाँ पर ये जो Starbucks वाली shop है, वो इस station के अंदर ही है. So that's why they're saying at the front of. और in front of मतलब जब कोई चीज ये यहाँ पर for example if I'm here, मेरे front में मेरा hand है. So this is in front of, और at the front of का मतलब is उसके अंदर ही वो है, and then they use this word. I hope we are clear now. Okay, great. So everybody, I request everybody to please have a pen and a paper. And as you all know that this recording will be played only once. Give the answer in 2 to 3 lines.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's
Right.
move ahead. Do you like to fly on airplanes? Why or why not?
I don't like to fly on aeroplanes because I have a phobia with height. So I don't prefer it most of the times.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier also that we don't have to use the contractions. So avoid
Right.
using the word don't. You have to say do not. Okay. So I do not like to fly
Okay,
on aeroplanes or whatever your line is. Do you prefer more active vacations or do you prefer to relax and just do a bit?
Well, I prefer to relax and do a little because my schedule on regular basis is highly occupied. So I prefer to relax while I'm going on vacation instead of being active there.
Okay. What place would you really like to visit?
I would like to visit Vrindavan because I've heard a lot about it, and my mother has a fascination for this place. So I would love to go there on Holi.
Okay. What do you like to do when you visit a new city?
Being a foodie, I think I would like to search for a good place to eat where I can try something new and different.
Okay. Okay. So we were having these answers from Sakshi, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Sakshi, so this is for everybody, is that as I've already always told you that we in IELTS we always go with paraphrasing. What I mean by paraphrasing is that if the question is being asked to us that would you like to visit a new city or what place would you really like to visit, then we need to paraphrase it and then speak it in our own words. What I mean to say is that you don't have to say I would really like to visit Vrindavan. You need to paraphrase it in your own words so that the examiner knows you have the variety of words. You know the art of paraphrasing. In IELTS it is important to know how to paraphrase your sentences. For example, if I have to say what is an interesting place you've traveled, so you are not going to start your answer by saying an interesting place I have traveled is so and so. So what you can actually say is the place that the place that really admires me or has left an indelible impact on my mind is so and so. So what I'm saying is you just don't have to use the same word that I'm using. I'm just saying you need to paraphrase it and avoid using these same sentences, these same words that are mentioned in the question. For example, if I talk about the word relax, little, active, then avoid these words and try to find the words which can synonymize them. Okay, let's move ahead to our next participant. Who's going to speak next? And someone was asking in the comment section, should it be 2 minutes speaking? No, Kanika, this is part 1. So in part 1, I don't know if you've attended that class or not, in which I explained the difference between part 1, part 2, and part 3. But then I would just again repeat that part 1 is the introductory session where you have to answer your questions in 2 to 3 lines. You need to be precise. And when we'll switch on to our part 2, in part 2, we need to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. I am going to move on to part 2 as well. Now I want the next volunteer who can speak on these same questions. I need the answers to them. Who's going to come up next? So this is how you can just come out of your cocoon, right? You're going to break the walls of your shyness. You're going to speak here. Then only you will be able to speak in front of your examiner or in the front of your interviewer. So come on, show some guts, have confidence. No one is going to say you anything. Who's next?
Okay, ma'am. Myself, Veer.
Okay, Dave. Yes. So let's talk about travel. Where is an interesting place you have traveled?
the most interesting place I have visited recently is Lakshadweep. It is basically 16 or 17 dweeps, the islands of 17 islands. That is total of that combined, if you can say that, Lakshadweep. Two of them I visited, Bangaram and Kavarati, and two of them, Bangaram was a really very beautiful island I have ever visited, uh, because this was my first visit to island, and it's like very mesmerizing place.
Great. So I would like to mention that the kind of words that you use, for example, mesmerizing, this is like kind of vocabulary that we actually need in IELTS. And also I need to mention that don't confuse yourself. वहाँ पर your examiner is not going to bother कि वहाँ पर 16 islands थे या 17 थे या कितने थे. जितने उस टाइम पर दिमाग में आते हैं, यू डोंट हैव टू बी फैक्चुअल ओवर देयर, डोंट कंफ्यूज. ऐसा हमें नहीं दिखाना है कि हमें बोलना नहीं आ रहा है या वी आर इन अ डिलेमा. सो जो भी मन में आता है 14, 15, 16, 17, just say it over there, okay? And try to use connectors. Like for example, you were using the word and again and again. So instead of using the word and, you can use the word moreover. So in the next question, if you're going to switch on to your next line, try to use the word moreover, this happened, or whatever you're going to say. Or you can say furthermore, moreover, or in addition. So I'm giving you 3 words. Out of these 3 words, just try to use any 1 or 2 word in your next answer. Moreover, furthermore, in addition. Do you like to fly on airplanes? Why or why not?
I like to fly on airplane because time flies very fast, and we have very short time to travel the whole world, and airplane does very good part in that. Moreover, we can save a lot of time to visit from one city to another on aeroplanes. That's why I like to fly on airplanes.
Great. Do you prefer more active vacations, or do you prefer to just relax and chill?
It depends upon how my physical conditions is, that I am exhausted from my traveling or not. If I am not, I would like to prefer more active vacations. If I'm not exhausted, then if I'm exhausted, then I like to first prefer to relax, then to visit more active vacations.
Okay, so this is for everybody. Instead of using the word prefer, you can use the word wish, or you can say like. Okay, so we are going to end this meeting in just 1 minute. So I request everybody to join the same link, and we're going to meet after 1 minute. Let's have the last answer. What place would you really like to visit?
This is kind of tricky question for me because I like to travel the whole world. But I like to travel the world. I wish to travel the world like a bird. I don't wish to that have formalities that I have to I have to fill on the boundaries or on the borders of the countries. I wish to fly like a bird. No need of any kind of documents and any kind of. That's it.
Yes. So we are I'm just ending this meeting, and you just join via the same link. So we get to learn a lot of things from our teachers. So this is what they're trying to say कि आपने अपनी कौन सी टीचर से क्या सीखा, कौन सी क्लास में सीखा, क्या वो कोई द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ द क्लास, क्या मे बी वो कोई सब्जेक्ट भी हो सकते हैं, जैसे आपने साइंस के बारे में सीखा, शायद आपको इंग्लिश आ गई, आपने हिंदी सीख ली. इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग यू लर्न, इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग मतलब कि जो भी आपका सब्जेक्ट होगा या जो भी आप इस आंसर में मेंशन करने वाले हो, वो बेसिकली किस चीज के अराउंड रिवॉल्व कर रही है, और क्यों आपको ऐसा लगता है कि जो उस टीचर ने आपको सिखाया वो आपकी लाइफ के लिए एक मीनिंगफुल लेसन छोड़कर गया और आपको आगे भी जाकर काम आने वाला है. दिस इज व्हाट द क्वेश्चन इज सेइंग. सो वीर, एम आई क्लियर टिल हियर? लेट मी फ्रेम माय आंसर. Let's have a timer. Okay. As it is always said that our teachers are our role models, and I've always learned something or the other from my teachers since my childhood. So the very first thing which I would like to mention over here, when I was in my 7th standard, I still remember that my teacher's name was Fatima, and she told me the importance of science. That science is the life which basically revolves around us. The basic and the fundamental unit of a life, that is cell, is the one which is ingrained in each and every human being, and we are made up of that. Further, I would like to mention that she was my science teacher, particularly a biology teacher. Also, on the top of that, the learnings that she taught me in that class, where she told me that if I'm able to speak right now or I'm able to breathe right now, is just because of science. And it is important for every human being to understand all these mechanisms which are taking place in our body, so that we understand the biochemistry of our own body in a proper and a better way, and we can have a better heat towards our health as well. Also, I would like to mention that this lesson was meaningful to me because I could further comprehend that I wish to learn more about sciences, and I took it as my major subject during my graduation and my post-graduation time. I would just like to end it up by saying that science, something that my teacher told me, that everything revolves around science, is what I feel every day around myself. So I just want to end it up by saying that she was the one who is here, who has made me realize the importance of the biological aspects of life, which make me what I am today. Thank you. So it was for 1 minute 50 seconds. So this is how I always give my IELTS speaking. I have just prepared it. Nothing was real in this. Nothing like that happened in my 7th standard. Fatima was just a name that I took from my participants, and no such importance is there. This is everything which I've planned. So nothing is, no such teacher, no such name. My examiner doesn't know who is Fatima. My examiner doesn't know where is science revolving. I was just trying to include words of cell, of biology, of mechanisms, and I was trying to use connectors. Moreover, on top of that, in addition, that's it. I didn't stop in between. मैंने ये नहीं सोचा कि भाई अब साइंस के बारे में और क्या बोलूं. मतलब चाहे सच था या झूठ था, उससे I am not concerned. My only concern was कि बस मुझे बोलना है, and that is what I did. So I hope I am trying to tell you all कि basically how I was speaking, how this part. So this cue card is the part जहाँ पर actual में हमारा IELTS का band score decide होता है. This is the part where we need to include vocabulary, where we need to include lexical variety, where we need to show our cohesiveness, where we need to form complex sentences if we can. So now I want somebody to come up and speak on it. So who's going to come up now? I just want one person to have that confidence and come up. Just one. Let's see, out of everybody who's present here, who is that one person who's having that confidence, who's having that guts, that no matter if you're speaking right or wrong, but still you have something in yourself that you can come up and speak. I'm not even saying you to switch on your screen and then say. आप पेपर से देख के भी बोल सकते हो. And let me tell you one more thing. जो हमें IELTS की speaking के time पर pen and paper मिलता है, if we peep into that paper, if we even speak, if we even see into that paper, our bands are not deducted. Obviously, you're given that paper for a reason. You're given that paper for a reason so that you can jot it down. And if you wish to peep into that, if you wish to see that completely, you can definitely do that. You're not marked on the basis of the aspect that whether you are reading it or you are just speaking it by yourself. So you're completely open to it also, that if you see paper, if you wish to, just jot down your points and then speak. So do we have just one person who can speak? Come on, it should not be there. Then how are you going to speak there? Even if you wish to speak for 1 minute, just for 1 minute, I'm not even saying you to speak for 2 minutes, for 1 minute. We have Sukhpreet, we have Sakshi, we have Japneet is saying she cannot. Fatima is saying she cannot. But Japneet, now you must have understood the topic. Now that you can speak. It could be something related to music also. If someone is interested in music, you can say that there was a teacher who taught me the importance of music, or she taught you the chords, she taught you how music revolves, where music revolves, different types of instruments. This can also be an answer. Or the answer could be anything. It could be related to a language as well. For example, if there was some English teacher, there was some Punjabi teacher, there was some Hindi teacher who taught you about the language, who taught you about the importance of language, you can even mention that. I'm just giving you an idea so that you can frame your answer. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let me just give it a last try, that if this IELTS speaking, IELTS listening is going to work, then let me play that for you all so that you can answer it. I hope everybody is having pen and paper, and I'm going to just start it. Okay, Kanika has penned down the answer. Kanika, I'll just read it. Just give me a second.
You will hear a telephone call between a woman and a customer service representative at a moving company. You have 30 seconds to look at questions 1 through 6.
Game area. Notice how the game area is located along the wall facing the bay in the Great Hall.
Okay, since it's not audible here, so I just don't want to waste my time on this. You can either take the screenshot, or then there's no use of even taking the screenshot. I've uploaded this whole IELTS listening, like complete set of 40 questions over there in the Google Classroom. I will just request everybody to practice it from there, because maps are usually considered as tricky questions. So if you're going to practice it today, then I can give you some more questions for practice, for practicing for tomorrow, so that you get hold of these map questions, these plans that are given. So I'm just going to wind up with today's class, and if someone is interested in speaking for this part 2, then definitely you can come up with it. And if you feel like that no, you are not confident, then we'll try to build confidence. Let me read the answer that she has written. Great answer. Like a perfect answer is being written by you, Kanika. I really appreciate you for that. You have seriously written an incredible answer with the correct usage of connectors, with the correct usage of vocabulary which is required, and it is going to finish it off in 2 minutes as well. Everything is perfect, and we have the introductory line also, and then we have the concluding line also, because you're using this connector again, agglomerating, which shows the examiner that you are about to end. So it's a good answer. You've given it a good shot. So the only work which depends it that how you're going to speak it. The way you are speaking it, you need to have intonation, and you need to have proper pronunciation for all the words. Let me also show you the last slide that I have for you all, which is this, which is part 3. So in part 3, which is the follow-up part, where the examiner is going to ask you like the follow-up questions on the basis of this cue card itself. For example, the questions could be, what qualities make an excellent teacher? By contrast, what are some mistakes teachers make that make them less effective? Would you enjoy being a teacher? Why or why not? Finally, let's consider the current climate of education. Do you think kids face too much or too little pressure related to school these days? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer these questions one by one so that you can listen to it and get an idea. Let me give it a shot. What qualities make an excellent teacher? And remember, whenever we are discussing this part 3, we need to give our answers in 3 to 4 lines. Like we need to exaggerate our answers, or it could be 4 to 5 lines also. What qualities make an excellent teacher? Well, I personally perceive that an incredible teacher has certain qualities. For example, the first one which I have learned from my experience is patience. It is very important for a teacher to have patience, where a teacher is able to understand their students and the teacher is able to clear their doubts in a better way, so that the teacher and the student are on good terms and they don't get irritated from each other. Furthermore, I would like to mention that teaching is a profession which is a two-way learning process, and it continues for the lifelong learning that goes on. So a teacher should be willing to learn, should be willing to grasp new things with time. In the end, I would like to mention that an excellent teacher would be the one who is ready to accept the flaws and who's ready to make their students excel and provide them a pathway so that the students can have the bright future with bright minds in the upcoming generations. So this could have been the answer. By contrast, what are some mistakes teachers make that make them less effective? Okay. In my opinion, some teachers could have a negative impact on the minds of children or on the minds of students in a scenario where a corporal punishment is considered. I have come from a time period when I used to see the teachers who were near me. They used to beat their students and then give them their homework, which was absolutely wrong according to my opinion. Further, I would like to mention that a teacher should be willing to clear or clarify the doubts of the student. If the student is not able to understand it in once, then it should not be irritating, or it should not be a tiresome task for a teacher to clarify it and to reach up to a point where everything is crystal clear. So all these points should be considered in accumulation, which could prove out to be mistakes, or which could prove out that they have the negative impact on the students. And this negative impact is going to continue for the entire life, because a student will get that hole in their heart that at that point of the time, teacher was not able to clarify, or the teacher was not able to develop that bond which should be connected between, which should be made between teachers and students. Would you enjoy being a teacher? Why or why not? So the answer to this question is definitely yes. So are you people trying to understand that what type of answers I'm giving and what kind of answers they're actually seeking for? So if you're trying to understand it, since we're running out of time, that's why I'm not answering the rest of questions. So if you're understanding it, then please type a big yes in the comment section. Are you able to understand that what kinds of answers they are seeking from you in part 3 of speaking, that is the follow-up speaking? Okay, great. So the other two questions are also on the basis of this education only. So they are basically revolving around teachers, teaching, what kind of traits teachers should have. So that's it for our today's class. We're going to meet tomorrow. So is there anyone who wants that we should do that specific topic that is not clear to them, or any specific module that you wish that we need to work on it more? Thank you, Veer. Kanika, I'm just explaining that to you. Just give me a second. So in short, अगर मुझे just 1 minute में बताना हो कि IELTS की speaking कैसे होती है, part one will be the thing in which they'll be asking you your personal questions, like your experiences, what you're studying, you're working, where you stay, what are your, like, very general questions. So you need to answer those questions in just 2 to 3 lines. You don't need to exaggerate your answers, and you can use very easy and simple vocabulary. You don't have to delve into that heavy vocabulary words. Moving ahead to part 2. In part 2, what she's going to do is she's going to give you 1 minute, like the question that is displayed on your screen. In the same way, the question will be displayed on your screen. If you're giving it in COVID times, obviously, the question will be displayed on your screen. She'll be giving you 1 minute. She'll be giving you pen and a paper to jot down your points. You need to make a circle that I told you in yesterday's class, so that you are able to give your answers in a better and a quicker way. After 1 minute, she's going to put a timer. She's going to say, now you can continue with it. You have to speak for 2 minutes. So if you exceed 2 minutes, she's going to stop you, but there is no negative marking if she stops you. So you don't have to worry for that. Then they're going to move on to part 3. Part 3 is the follow-up part, where she's going to discuss, where she's going to ask you more and more questions